key point here, guys, is basically to understand how iSleep works based on this movable pointer. That's really the key point. Basically, parallel iterative matching does the random move of the pointers. The selection is randomly. Round robin does the selection and moves the pointer without waiting for the accept. iSleep does exactly like round robin, except it moves the pointer after the accept, basically. And it moves only the accepted ones. If a grant is not accepted, the pointer in the grant phase is not moving. And that's exactly how it works. So here, it's this graph here, it's showing you the original pointer, the selected one, and the updated pointer. So what's important is these two ones. If, when I select one, is it accepted or not? We start from this, which is a request phase. Then we get the grant. So, for example, this is the original position for number one, for example. So, input one grants to, output one grants to input one, because the grants, they go from output to input. Output one grants to input one, output two, output two grants to input three, output three grants to input two, and four grants to input three. Okay? As we can see here, this is easy because only one grant. This is easy, it's one grant. The question is there. Two grants are received. Which means if there are two grants received by an input, either this output or this output will lose. Because only one of them will get accepted, right? Clear? So we will see that one of these pointers will stay in its place. Now what happens? After this grant comes the accept phase. Now, mind you that the pointers here, they did not get updated yet, as you can see there. The updated ones are when it's in blue. If it was round robin, it would have granted and moved, right? That's what round robin does. iSleep grants but does not move. It waits for this phase to finish. Okay. So the accept pointers. This is easy one. This is easy one. The question is in number 3, maybe, right? Now, output 1 gets 1 grant, it accepts it. Output 2 gets 1 grant, and it accepts it. Output 3, or input 3, sorry, gets 2 grants, and in fact, it accepted number 2 and not number 3. So this is the one that was accepted, and this one was discarded. That's exactly what happened here. So you see this pointer, which is, actually it was not shown in this grant here, but this shows you that this input, because it accepted that output, what happened to that output? That output before, what it did, it grants 3 and normally it moves by 1 position. Normally. Okay? Because it moves 1 position beyond the granted one if it is accepted. This is accepted, so this grant has been accepted. Therefore, the corresponding pointer must move, which is this one. This or this, which is here. The original was at 1, it selected number 3, that's the one. It stayed waiting, it did not do anything. It waited for the accept phase. In the accept point, this one, accepted number output 3. Sorry. The input 3 accepted output 2, it accepted the grant coming from 2, this one. Therefore, this one has been updated. Is it clear how it works? The key point is that the grant pointer, the grant update pointer of iSleep, this is the point. This is the beef. The grant update pointer of iSleep does not move only after the accept and if the grant is accepted. If the grant is not accepted, the grant pointer doesn't move. So it's about updating the grant pointer. whereas round robin moves blindly. iSleep does not move until or unless the grant is accepted. Is this clear? So if this, for example, assuming this grant, this one was not accepted, you know what will happen to iSleep? What will happen? The pointer will stay where it is, in the original place. Originally the pointer was pointing at 1. It granted 3 and was waiting. In fact, the pointer granted 3, but in fact it's staying there. It only moves when it makes sure that the one that has been granted is accepted. Then it moves. But in fact, in reality, mechanically speaking, physically, the pointer stays there until after this phase. Is it clear? If the grant is not accepted, the pointer will stay there. Will slips. iSleep. Slips, does not go. It starts to go, but then it slips down. Basically, that's what it is. Okay? This is with more than one iteration what happens. When you have more than one iteration. Second iteration, so we take out what you had before, which are these 3 ones, so the rest is that one, and we do it. And basically, I must say that when it comes to more than one iteration, it's exactly like parallel function. It converges in log n. Okay? So this is how it works. Just an example how it works as before. So a number of requests there, then comes these guys. Then these are the grants. So this is exactly the same example as I ran before. So that's pointing to 0. It will go there. This pointer here, they are done in parallel, but for the sake of presentation, I want to explain. Pointer number 4, grant pointer 4, it's pointing at 0. It will grant number 2 because number 2 is the given one, so it grants this one. Okay? And now it waits. Normally, what I'm trying to show you, this one is the granted one. It did not move the pointer, in fact. This does not mean the pointer moved. It means which one has been granted. It's not an actual move. Okay? The actual move happens after the accept. So the rest they granted, I don't know how. Then comes the accept phase. Okay. Now see the accept phase. Please remind me. So this one, the big problem is here. These guys are easy because they granted directly. They have one grant. Input 1 and 2, they have each one grant, so there's no problem. The problem happens when you have more than one grant, which is this case. Okay. Now the accept pointer is pointing at number 0. Which one it will pick? It will pick number 1. Right? So it goes to 1, find that actually it has a grant coming from it, accepts it. What happens now to this grant? The grant was not accepted. Therefore the pointer goes back. This one moved. This one was pointing here. It will go back there. This one moved. Mind you, this one, because it is accepted, moved. That one will move back. That's it. That's the key point between iSleep and round robin. Here, round robin would have left its pointer there. iSleep does not move. Why? Do you know why? Because this lost its chance. So iSleep, in order to be fair, it knows for a fact there is a packet waiting here that should have been sent, but it is not. It didn't win. So it kept pointing to that packet. Actually, when you do it like this, you are emulating first in, first out. You are giving priority to the previous packets. Because it knows for a fact there is a packet that was there, but it did not win the contention. So it keeps pointing to it. It did not care who is coming after that. Because maybe in next time slot there is an empty queue, let's say queue number 2 or 3. Maybe in the next time slot a packet will come in. So assume if iSleep did not slip here, it did not keep the pointer here. Let's say it worked like round robin, okay? Assume it moved here. And the next time slot there will be a packet coming to this output, okay? And it's what am I? I'm in output 3, I'm in output 2 now. So if it moves here, normally it grants this, it will move to 3, in fact. It will move by 1. Assume next time slot, output 3 here, or queue number 3 will get a packet. What will happen? Or output 3, sorry, output 3 will get a packet going to, input 3 will get a packet going to output 3. In the next time, which is a newer traffic coming in. You know what will happen? If a packet is coming here, going there, in the future, okay? This will send a request there. Because the pointer now is pointing there, this normally will grant this back. And because the pointer is pointing there, this will be accepted, right? Which means this guy, not only it has been rejected previously, it will stay rejected maybe n times. If you see the point. So that's why actually putting the grant back is very important. Keeping pointing to the same one until it gets accepted. I hope you see the point. This is how you implement iSleep in hardware. It's kind of simple, let's say. So again, the details of the implementation are in the documents you have as reading, extra reading. Here I'm just giving you the film how it works. But iSleep, the paper, there is iSleep scheduling algorithm, which is a paper in the list of papers I gave you. You are required to read the paper. Required. And it describes this implementation. This is the state of the VQs, okay? Which means the state of the inputs, n square maybe, okay? N square, and that's why you will have n signals that go to n accept grab pointers, as you can see there. So that's n square signals. The state here, n square, which is the state of the input VQs, okay? Now, this is representing exactly this. These signals. So every input would have at most n signals go to n outputs, right? So in total, you could have n square requests. We model them here. Whereby each grant, let's say this one, could receive potentially n requests from n inputs. That's exactly this one. Is it clear how am I mapping the matching to the hardware? Is it clear? Good. Now this grant would work something like this. This is the request vector. This will tell you this n I'm receiving. 0 means I got a packet. 0 means I did not get a packet. 1 means I got a packet for you. Which means an error means 1. This is 0, the rest is 0. If in the request phase, I mean this is accept. But in reality, in the request phase, which is this one, this one, this is the request. So in this case, let's say this one will have 1, 0, 1, 0 in the request vector.
There is.
I'm talking about this one. It has 3. It's 0. Sorry, 1, 1, 1, 0. It's 110. You're right. Is it clear how it works? 110. That's exactly what's happening here. Okay. Where is that? Here. The request vector will be 1, 1, 1 because it's 4. It's size n. In that case, 4 by 4. You will find 3 1s and 0. Now, what happens priority encoder? Priority encoder, I hope. If you don't know what it is, try to go and see how it works. It's easy. Basically, it's starting from the position number 1. Actually, a simple priority encoder, you start from the beginning and you find the first value that corresponds to a non-zero one. However, what we have here, it's called programmable priority encoder. What is programmable? Actually, it's not a simple priority encoder. It's priority encoder that is dictated by that GI. GI is the pointer. GI will tell you which one you should point at first to give it the priority, which is the grant pointer. Details are in the paper on this. And then once you pick the index of the input you want to grant, you send it in log n2. Log n2 meaning, if you have 4 inputs, you can represent them with 4 states, right? And 4 states, number of signals are 2, which means if I want to say, please, the grant, I have a 4x4, right? If I want to say grant input 1, I got 4 inputs. How many bits I need to encode 4 inputs? How many bits? 0. If I have 8, how many bits? So it's logging. That's okay. It's logging. That's why it's logging. Here, good. The accept works in same phase, basically, in the same way. It's exactly the same. And then it gives log to n, and that's the decision register. Is it clear how it works? If you have questions, please ask me. There are a number of implementations, but this is the most known implementation for this. And most likely it's used by the industry. Okay? Of course, it's a closed system, they won't tell you, but yeah, it's the implementation that is known. Okay? What else I'm going to talk about? It says it's programmable proprietary encoder because of that influence of this loop there, it becomes programmable. It's not a simple proprietary encoder. Okay? What else? This will talk about the numbers of iterations there. So here it says this loop back, it means if you have more than one iteration. So the first iteration you would find out a match, but you don't produce the match. So you go back. Okay? So this loop back is when you have more than one iteration, which is the case most of the time. iSleep rarely runs one iteration. It runs more than one iteration for better matching. Oh, this is an important slide also. This tells you the number of signals that are needed by an arbiter. Because, remind you that the arbiter, the scattering arbiter, are you familiar with this picture, guys? This says the input ports, this is the crossbar, these are the output ports, whereby the input ports, each input port has n values. Okay? So, now, this is the input ports and the crossbar, but you will need a block that's called the scheduler. Now, our question is actually one of the design goals of arbiters or scheduler is actually because these are costly. You will need to communicate between the crossbar and the scheduler. The scheduler needs to get the signals from the inputs, produces a match, and tells the crossbar, right? That communication is cost, is overhead. So here we wanted to calculate this block, how many cables it needs. The signaling, I/O signaling, important. Okay. So when a new packet comes in, a packet will be inserted in one of the queues, right? Now, assume I have n queues. I could make a guy sitting there, okay, secret agent, that would record where the packet gets inserted. The packet gets inserted in this queue, or this queue, or this queue, or this queue. This guy will tell me who's sitting there, and he will send it in this information. How many bits do I need to encode n queues? Log 2. Log 2 of n, because I got n queues. So if I got 8 queues, assume n is 8, and I got a packet that came to queue number 5. I could send 101 to say the 5th queue is back, right? This is the signal. The one here, it says it's a valid bit. In hardware, in order to validate a signal, you send a 1 to say it's valid. So this data will not be correct or taken into effect unless there is this bit is put to high to say it's a valid bit. So that's why you add 1. So the requests, they would constitute, each request is 1 plus log n signals, bits, signals. Okay? Now, if I got n of them, you will get n times 1 plus log n, right? So it's n plus n log n signals. For the requests, the grants are exactly the same story. Now, which is taken from this basically. So the grant here, this grant, when it sends a signal here, it's actually log 2n bits. It says which input I'm granting. I can encode the input by log 2 of n, right? Let's go back. I think now, let me go back here. Hello. As it input 0 grants to output 0 grants to input 0. Right? This information might as well, instead of an arrow showing you to see it, I could have said 0, 0. My answer is 0, 0. 0, 0 meaning input 0, output 0 granted to input 0. This one granting to 2, it's 1, 0. I might as well have an instruction there that says 1, 0. 1, 0 meaning output 1 granted to the input indexed by 1, 0. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0. 1, 0 is the third input. Clear? Good. So that's why here I will need the grant log n. In fact, it's 1 plus log n. It's similar to this, to say it's valid. Okay? But it's not very relevant. It's 1 bit. You may keep it n log n, or you may keep it log n, or 1 plus log n for correctness. So the grant would give log n for each port to say which input I'm granting. Okay? In parallel, what the scheduler does, the scheduler tells this guy the configuration. This is the job of the scheduler also. There's a channel between the scheduler and the crossbar to tell the crossbar which cross points to close. That's called the crossbar configuration. So at the same time, it tells the inputs which one to get ready to send packets, which position of each memory to read from. This is the address, the queue from which you should read packets. At the same time, it tells the crossbar, please close this connection. This is a matrix, remember? It's 0-1 matrix in the scheduler, remember? That 0-1 matrix should be configured by this many bits, n log n. I will leave it up to you to tell me why it's n log n. I'm not going to say why it's n log n. It's easy, right? Why? You said this. What does that mean?
I don't say anything.
Sorry?
I don't say anything.
Oh, so do you know what is n log n?
I got n inputs, output.
Mm-hmm.
Input, output, and go like you log in to specify each output.
With each position in each column. We've got n columns. In every column,
You log in to specify the
to
output.
specify which point in that column. So the minimum is n log n. So if you add up all the signals, that's your overhead in the schedule. Okay. I hope this is clear. Oh. This is an example of another priority encoder, how it works. This is an example. It's not iSleep. This is another implementation which is similar to iSleep. How would high priority works in hardware? This is the real hardware, how it works. The real hardware. You can see it's a combination of basic logic gates. Are there people who are familiar with hardware design? Who is not familiar with logic design at all? It's okay, guys, please tell me. Let me understand. So, quite a number who are familiar with logic design, right? So I think, well, for those who are not familiar, try to follow me, but yeah, unless I make a catch-up thing. So this is a NOT gate, this is a NOR gate, I mean, yeah. This is actually an OR gate, okay? Was it an OR? This is an AND, sorry. AND gate. And which one is this? That's an OR gate. And which one, what is that?
So,
kind of XOR. That is a mix, multiplex selection. End again. So in this case, if you have two entries, that selection bit will tell you if it's 0, meaning pick this one, if it's 1, pick that one. Multiplex. Okay? Which is it works as an encoder or a decoder. Encoding or decoder. Anyway, so what happens? We are taking this example here, so assume this this pointer is pointing, the highest priority is 2. We are trying to show you how it works in real hardware at the logic level, logic gate level. So this input receives grants from input 1, this output receives, this is a grant pointer. This grant pointer or this grant arbiter is receiving requests from input 1, and then input 3, and then input 4. Its highest priority pointer is pointing to 2. What it does, it starts from the grant positions, grant 0, 1, 2, here it says grant 0, 1, 2, 3 to point to grant number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. The indexes are here different than here. So grant 0, in fact, it means the first one, okay? So what it does, it complements all the grants. I must tell you that the grants here, it means Gn of 1 is equal 1, the rest are 0. This must, that Gn of 0, 1, it wants to say where is this pointing. So this is pointing to Gn 1, the rest are 0. And that's why it's saying, now when you negate them, what you will find here, the current grant, as I said, is 1, 0, 0. Let me paraphrase what I was just saying now. The grant here, grant 0, 1, 2, 3, is what has been granted before. What exists in the grant before I start my phase. Okay? So the grant before, it granted grant number 0. This is the current value of the grant. This is it. Okay? When you start from this, you will end up with negating every grant you have. So this is your original starting point. When you negate them, you will end up with 0, 1, 1, 1, which means the negation of this. So this is 0, 1, 1, 1, right? Then what you do? You do a AND gate always with the rest. Why is that? It's calling masking you mask the previous grants to give priority. So you AND 0 and 1, and then both of them, you AND them with the third one, the output of the third and fourth. And then you AND these two with the third one, it's a cascade one. This will give you a masked requests. Why do you do that? To try to define the priorities of who should be giving first. What does that say, basically, in simple terms? I granted this one previously, this should become the last priority, starting from the next ones. That's exactly what he's saying, this stage. Now, I know what is my first priority, from which place I should start. And that's not enough information. I know what is the highest priority. What I should know now, if it is the highest priority, does it have traffic in the corresponding input? Which means, do I have requests coming from that input? Okay, now I know I should have number 2, let's say, or 3 is the highest priority. In addition to that, I should make sure that the corresponding input is sending a request. That's what happens here with the request. So I AND the request with the mask. I should make sure that my masked pointer is 1, and the request is also 1, the request vector. This is the request vector. When I say request 0, meaning do I have a request coming? And you AND them together. You AND the request plus the masked pointer or the masked grant to get what is called the masked request. Okay? Now what you do, what is happening here? this, or it's telling you, is there a request coming from a queue for which the position belongs to the highest priority pointer? If there is any request, grant it directly. If there is a request, if this OR gate gives you 1, meaning you will always pick the second entry, okay? The second entry meaning the request plus your request, if there is a request, plus the grant. Making sounds complicated to follow? I'm trying to explain this. The result of this will be in these multiplexers, and it will give you 0011, and then it's a simple priority encoder whereby you pick the first one in that list. In this case, it gives you a result of 0010. And this is it here. If you start from the grant here, and you get these positions, you will normally grant number 2. Okay? You will grant number 3, you will grant this one. If you are starting from this position, you will grant absolutely number 3. That's how in hardware it's working. Hope somehow it is clear. This is called mask priority encoder, and the paper exists again. It's in your list of papers. Complicated? Now, I hope you appreciate there is a separation between analytical results and also you keep an eye on the hardware. Okay? I think this is the normally our longest lecture in the module because it covers the number of advanced topics in this, which is the scheduling, okay? Please go visit this paper to make sure how the hardware is evaluated and how is it designed. There are a couple of projects about hardware design. Maybe this is one of them for those who think to do hardware. I would encourage you for some of you to do some hardware projects because they are interesting, they are fun to do. Okay? And also you can see the real hardware running in front of you. It's more fun, I guess, but it's choice. Next, there is a firm algorithm. I would rather prefer to cover this in the next lecture. So we better stop here today. Okay? Something I wanted to mention before you go. I'm going to put the details of Wednesday's lab online today. Why is it? I keep saying Wednesday. For some reason, I think the previous series was always Wednesday. So the pointer keeps going to Wednesday. I should implement I sleep. Yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Then I will do it hopefully in the next 2 hours. You will get some guidelines on what is the lab about tomorrow. Please, 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 details. Make sure to be aligned before you come to the lab. To make things much easier. Okay? Be back and see you tomorrow in the lab.
我是看对这个人，就让我们回头预习。